Have you ever noticed that we tend to think relationships are about liking people? I've started to think they're about something deeper. I think relationships are regulation. Now, that doesn't mean we don't genuinely care about people. Of course we do. But I think one of the hidden functions of relationships is that they help regulate our nervous systems. Think about it. Some people seek relationships because they provide reassurance, some because they provide validation, some because they provide stability, excitement, novelty, structure. Different relationships regulate different people in different ways. And I think that's why compatibility is so much more complicated than simply asking, do we like each other? Because two people can generally like each other and still regulate each other poorly. One person might need constant communication to feel secure. Another person might feel overwhelmed by the constant communication. Neither person is wrong. Their nervous systems are simply asking for different things. I've also noticed that when relationships begin to struggle, some people often assume someone stopped caring. Sometimes that's true, but sometimes what's actually happening is that relationships have stopped regulating one or both people in the way that they unconsciously expected. Those expectations are often silent. They're rarely discussed. One person expects frequent reassurance, another expects independence. One expects emotional processing together, another processes emotions alone. Neither person necessarily realizes they're expecting these things. They simply feel that something is off. And I think that's where a lot of incompatibility comes from. Not because someone is a bad person, but because they're trying to build different kinds of relationships. I've also realized that not everyone needs the same number of relationships to meet those needs. Some people distribute those needs across many people. A friend for emotional support, another friend for fun, a coworker for structure, a partner for intimacy. Others tend to meet those needs through a much smaller number of relationships. Neither approach is inherently better. They're just different ways people reorganize connection. Once I started looking at relationships this way, I stopped asking, do we like each other? And I started asking, do our ways of regulating ourselves actually fit together? Because maybe compatibility isn't just about chemistry. Maybe it's about whether two nervous systems can coexist without constantly pulling each other out of balance. So my question to you is, when you think about your closest relationships, do they simply make you feel happy, or do they help regulate the way you move through life? Thanks for watching.